There is a city called the Pearl of the Orient, a thriving metropolis with towering skyscrapers and a spirit of success. A city where you can feel a pulsating energy and hear the echoes of history, where memories of a colonial past entwine with centuries-old Chinese tradition. There is a city of life, Hong Kong.
If you think that Hong Kong is all about gleaming buildings and hurried executives, you are in for a surprise. Dig a little deeper underneath its urban facade and you'll find a city with deep Chinese roots and boundless character.
Hong Kong is made up of 4 areas: the New Territories, Kowloon, Hong Kong Island and the outlying islands. With one of the world's highest population densities, it is a city where 6.5 million residents live their lives squeezed into tiny individual parcels of land. Hong Kong is also the home of Cathay Pacific.
Hong Kong's prized possession is its deepwater port, and crossing the Victoria Harbour on one of the trademark green and white staff ferries is a great way of getting a waterfront view of central Hong Kong.
These grand old dames have been ferrying passengers since 1898, and a cheap ticket buys you the billion-dollar view of a brilliant city. Today, it is difficult to imagine that Hong Kong was just a fishing village when it became a British colony in 1841.
At that time, it was described as a barren rock, much to the amusement of today's property tycoons.
Well, the barren rock now commands one of the world's highest real estate prices. The rise and rise of Hong Kong is due in part to a hard-working people driven by an obsession with success, and in part, so we are led to believe, thanks to a clever maneuvering of good feng shui or Chimanzi.
Hong Kong may be an international cosmopolitan city, but its people are steeped in superstition. If you are a feng shui master, you can be sure you will not run out of business in this city.
The dictates of feng shui and the more pragmatic need to make full use of limited resources have resulted in whirlwind changes to the Hong Kong cityscape. This means that most of Hong Kong's architecture will not be around long enough to be admired by posterity. Only a few historic buildings like the Legislative Council building remain, but despite its modern outlook, Hong Kong continues to treasure certain peculiar habits, such as the daily firing of the noonday gun at Causeway Bay.
No one knows for sure the legend behind this daily ritual, but the firing of the noonday gun has been a ceremonial tradition since the 1840s. In fact, it's even been immortalized in Noel Coward's song, Mad Dogs and Englishmen.
If you are a business traveler arriving in Hong Kong, your best bet is to stay at the Grand Hyatt and earn Asia miles with Cathay Pacific. Centrally located next to the Hong Kong Convention and Exhibition Centre, Grand Hyatt is an award-winning 5-star hotel with 572 luxurious guest rooms. Recently, a complete redesign of all the guest rooms have been undertaken to meet the constantly changing needs of the new millennium traveller. A state-of-the-art business centre comes with the latest computer technology. 20 highly flexible conference rooms ensure that any meeting or banquet criteria can be met. The Grand Hyatt's pool on the vast roof garden is Hong Kong's largest free-form swimming pool. Among Grand Hyatt's numerous fine restaurants and bars, the One Harbour Road Cantonese restaurant is probably the most outstanding and elegant. Fancy a private dining experience at the chef's table, where exquisite Cantonese dishes are prepared right in front of you? A short 10-minute drive from Grand Hyatt takes you to the foot of Hong Kong's most remarkable landmark, the Victoria Peak. The Peak Tramway has been operating since 1888. The tram negotiates one of the steepest passenger vehicle gradients in the world. but it is the anticipation of viewing a most spectacular cityscape that sets the heart pumping.
The Central District is the epitome of the Chinese corporate world, where rags to riches stories are told many times over. And if you have the Peak as your residential address, then you know you've made it, because only the most affluent could afford a view like this.
The imposing anvil-like Peak Tower watches over the city while playing host to tourists eager to make the pilgrimage to the top. Enjoy the fresh air at the Peak before you descend once again to join in the madness of Hong Kong City.
Tokyo has Disneyland, LA has Universal Studios, and the Gold Coast has SeaWorld. And Hong Kong's claim to fame? Well, it's Ocean Park.
Despite the scarcity of land, Ocean Park occupies a generous portion of the lush landscape in the southern part of Hong Kong. The park is spread over two sides of a steep hill and linked by a scenic 7-minute cable car ride. You can look out over to the South China Sea, giving a true sense of perspective to Ocean Park.
Ocean Park was originally built in 1977 as an oceanarium. Since then, it has developed into a full-fledged amusement park. The marine land continues to fascinate its countless visitors.
Atoll Reef is recognized as the largest aquarium in the world, with some 4,000 species of sea creatures swimming over 3 levels, each with a viewing gallery. Ocean Park is also home to the Ocean Park Conservation Foundation, set up in 1993 to save endangered marine mammals like these dolphins. These rare dolphins and other marine species are increasingly threatened by the loss of habitat due to reclamation, pollution, and vessel traffic. Through research and education, the Foundation aims to conserve the natural habitat of the marine mammals. Thrill seekers should take a trip to the Headland and Adventureland for that all-important adrenaline rush. All types of heart-stopping rides are packed into this playground filled with negative G sensations. Once back down to earth, tame that pounding heart by venturing to the giant panda habitat and visit An An and Jia Jia. They are an endangered species under the protection of the Ocean Park Conservation Foundation.
Well, after a fun-filled day at Ocean Park, many visitors to Hong Kong usually hop over to nearby Aberdeen for a delicious seafood dinner. Jump on a sampan or a Chinese junk and take a short cruise around the harbour for a close-up look at life on the boat. Adi Leo!
Aberdeen has long attracted tourists who came to see the Chinese junks moored in the harbour and the thousands of Hong Kong Chinese who live and work on them. Recently, the number of boat people dwindled as they resettled to dry land. Aberdeen is also home to 2 flamboyant palatial floating restaurants. At night, they are mesmerizing in their gaudy neon extravagance and sheer scale. Patrons take their pick of live seafood swimming in these water tanks. Only the food-loving Chinese would build a giant restaurant so huge that 4,000 patrons can be served in one sitting.
Cantonese cuisine is light and tasty, and a few signature dishes are drunken prawns, where live prawns are dunked into Chinese rice wine before boiling. Baked crab with egg whites and whole steamed fish with ginger and spring onions. Since we're on the subject of eating seafood, there is the peculiar Chinese etiquette that I'd like to mention. If you should order the whole steamed fish Cantonese style, make sure that you make no effort to turn the fish over to get at the flesh underneath. You see, it's a traditional superstition amongst Chinese fishing families that if you flip the fish over, it's like capsizing the fishing boats. And considering we're on a floating restaurant, we wouldn't want to do that, would we? Chinese martial arts, or Kung Fu, is the ancient art of self-defense that has gained popularity amongst the people of Hong Kong. Through the centuries, many different variations have been developed, the most popular of which would be Tai Chi Chuan, or Supreme Ultimate Fist.
Many elderly Tai Chi Chuan practitioners gather at the crack of dawn to practice this art form. The movements of Tai Chi Chuan may be slow, but it does wonders in promoting strength, flexibility, balance, and the development of Qi, or energy, which can be useful for healing. But the road to mastering Tai Chi Chuan is difficult, and only the enduring few are rewarded through sheer hard work and practice.
Another variation of Kung Fu is the Wing Chun style, popularized by Bruce Lee in Hong Kong action films during the 60s. Since then, it has continued to enthrall and entertain audiences globally with its swift strokes and nifty footwork. But of course, I'm no good at this. Why don't we talk to Mark Sifu? Mark Sifu, Lei Ho.
Oh, Lei Ho. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. Can you tell me a little bit more about the Wing Chun style?
Yes, Wing Chun is a native style. It was created by Shaolin Nun, and Wing Chun was actually an internal martial art. It emphasized on the sword, using sword approach against hard approach.
Okay, and there's something called the center line theory. What exactly is that?
Actually, center line is the essence of the Wing Chun. It tells the practitioner where the attacking hand and the defending hand to put on.
Okay.
And also, Wing Chun is an internal art. We will not against force, directly against force. For example, say that you give me a punch, we will never block it like that. This is soft, this is a force against force. For Wing Chun, we will do it like that. It's using deflection.
Or deflecting the power then?
Deflecting the power, using the body structure and footwork to dissolve the power.
Thank you very much, Mark Sifu. 好多謝你, Mark Sifu.
You're welcome. 唔使客氣.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Consider the Chinese proverb, live in Suzhou where the women are beautiful and life is gracious. Die in Luzhou where good teakwood coffins are made. And eat in Guangzhou. Now essentially, Guangzhou cuisine is Cantonese cuisine found everywhere in Hong Kong.
When in Hong Kong, you will not forgive yourself if you do not try the dim sum that has made this city famous. Dim sum is a Cantonese invention, and a Hong Kong dim sum meal is an exquisite taste and sensory experience.
Dim sum are lovely little delicacies served in bamboo canisters like these. There are a few hundred varieties you can take your pick from, each painstakingly prepared by hand.
Eating is both a social and communal affair to the Chinese, and a dim sum meal is no exception. Everyone shares the food. As most dim sum are served in 2s or 3s, it makes sense to eat with a few friends so that you can sample a wide range of the delicacies.
Dim sum comes prepared in a variety of different ways. Steamed, deep-fried, baked, stewed, they are scrumptious and the variety is great. A truly genuine Cantonese experience. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo.
Chinese tea is invariably served to help wash down the dim sum. If you run out of tea, simply place the lid ajar on top of the teapot as a sign that you'd like it refilled.
The Cantonese like to tap their fingers on the table like this when the waitress is serving tea. It's the unspoken way of saying thank you.
After a hearty dim sum meal, a quiet respite at the Hyatt Regency where I'm staying is a luxurious indulgence. A magnificent hotel with 723 newly renovated rooms, the Hyatt Regency is located in Kowloon. There is even a feng shui master on hand to advise guests on geomancy issues.
The Regency Club at the Hyatt is what I would call a hotel within a hotel. Business executives can enjoy complimentary continental breakfast and all-day tea-coffee service at the luxurious Regency Club Lounge. You can also earn Asia Miles with Cathay Pacific and One World partners at the Hyatt Regency.
Additional business support services are provided by a team of dedicated multilingual guest service officers. A host of dining pleasures await you at the Hyatt Regency. The Chinese restaurant has won accolades for its delicate traditional Cantonese cuisine. If you fancy continental fare, stop by at Hugo's, one of Hong Kong's finest dining restaurants. Top it off with a scrumptious dessert buffet at Nathan's Restaurant and Bar. And while we're on the topic of feasting in Hong Kong, I'm here to sample another must-try Cantonese favorite, the crispy roast goose. And joining me is a surprise guest, Mr. Alan Tam.
Hello, Vivian. Welcome to Hong Kong.
Oh, Mr. How are you?
Okay.
Thank you very much for inviting me for this crispy roast goose meal.
My pleasure.
Tell me a little bit more about the roast goose meal. What are we going to have?
A roast goose is actually it's exactly like Peking duck. They have 3 courses. Let me show you. The first part you're going to eat is the skin part. 扁皮鵝. I'll show you how to eat it. First of all, you pick up one.
唔該晒。
Pancake. Pancake. You know how to fold it? You choose one of your skin. And then some sauce with this.
Some sauce. Next.
And then you roll it up. Going up.
And then eat it.
Oh! Oh! Yummy!
What are we expecting next?
Oh, this is the second course and the third course coming together. And noodle.
Noodles?
Goose, meat and noodles. And soup. Oh my yeah.
Oh my God. So you play a lot of soccer?
Yes. 3 times a week.
And that's how you keep in such good shape, huh?
Yeah, you know what? Because my nickname is food eating machine. So I eat a lot.
You eat a lot.
Yeah, so that's why I have to keep a lot of exercise. Okay, let's try the noodles.
Okay. Okay, you go ahead first.
Okay.
Wow, 真係好
How you find the food?
好食咯 very
好食
tasty， 好食。
Hope you like it.
哦，唔該晒 Alan， 好
Be
多
my
謝
guest.
你
My honor.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
After a fill of delicious goose, it's time to take a gander up to Lam Kwai Fong or Soho, south of Hollywood Road, for a quick drink and some stylish nightlife.
Lam Kwai Fong in central Hong Kong Island used to be an expatriate hangout, but now draws a mixed crowd of yuppies to its numerous restaurants and funky bars. The lively night scene has spilled over from Lam Kwai Fong, and now Soho is the latest place to see and be seen in. Your Yum Seng card from Cathay Pacific will bring you generous discounts at the establishments here. The island of Macau is often perceived as an offspring of Hong Kong Island, yet it is anything but. While Hong Kong's ambience is Chinese and boisterous, Macau is Mediterranean and unassuming. It is a small enclave with a subtle fusion of Latin, Portuguese, Spanish and Asian textures. A slow wander on its cobbled streets is the best way to appreciate Macau.
Macau is the alpha and the omega of European settlement on Chinese land. In 1557, it became the first settlement on Chinese shores. In 1999, Macau was reverted back to Chinese rule, making it the last European settlement to occupy a part of China.
Centuries of European influence have left their mark on Macau. The pride of Senate Square, the old city's town centre, is the Loyal Senate Building, considered by many to be the best example of Portuguese architecture in Macau.
The title Loyal was bestowed upon Macau Senado in 1809 by Portuguese King John IV, when Macau defied the Spanish monarchy by flying the Portuguese flag. This tablet grants Macau its sacred title, City of the Name of God, Macau. There is none more loyal.
A little further afield are the ruins of Sao Paulo, or St. Paul's. Although only a towering facade and a grand staircase remains of this edifice, historians regard it as the finest monument to Christianity in Asia, and many tourists come to pay homage at this Macau icon.
Sao Paulo has witnessed several tragedies in its 400-year history. It was first destroyed by fire in 1601, rebuilt the following year, then razed to the ground again in 1835. The Chinese would say it's the bad feng shui of the site. Now only the classical facade built by Jesuit artisans in the 17th century refuses to bow to the elements.
No sojourn to Macau is complete without sampling the Portuguese egg tarts that have become the signature snack of Macau.
Hi, Andrew.
Hello, Vivian.
How are you?
Well, thank you.
Okay, tell me a little bit about the Portuguese egg tart. Now, what makes it so famous?
It's a standard custard mix, really, with milk, sugar, eggs and cream. It's the puff pastry that's important for these cakes.
Now, what makes them brown on the top when they come out?
This is very, very important. The browning on the top is the way they've been traditionally cooked for centuries. It's only the sugar in the mix burning because you use a very high temperature. So here we have one tray of delicious hot tarts straight from the oven. Would you like to try one?
I thought you'd never ask.
My pleasure, dear one.
I got an egg tart. You haven't got one.
At the southern tail end of Macau is Colina da Peña, or the Peña Hill. You can get an excellent view of Macau's old city and the China border ahead. The stately Peña Church commands the view up here.
While Peña Church sits atop of Peña Hill, Ama Temple holds fort at the base. Ama is a pseudonym for Tin Hao, or goddess of the sea. Ama Temple is one of the oldest temples in the territory, dating back some 600 years to the Ming Dynasty.
The oldest surviving part of the temple is this pavilion with a stone carving of a Chinese junk. Legend has it that the goddess Ama survived a treacherous typhoon sea crossing on a Chinese junk to Macau, at which point she ascended to heaven.
Adding to the old world charm of Macau is a less pious but no less profitable passion that entices some 10 million visitors annually. Macau has the dubious honor of being dubbed the Las Vegas of the East.
Gambling is big time in Macau. These days, the mere mention of Macau evokes not a quaint, charming city of God, but dreams of striking it rich on the gambling table.
If you're not into serious gambling but would like to indulge in some harmless betting, then pay a visit to Happy Valley Racecourse back on Hong Kong Island. Under these bright lights and frenetic atmosphere, nighttime horse racing certainly can be electrifying. Come on, number 8! Bao bao, mighty Yes! Dinner's on me!
The amount wagered at Happy Valley is the highest of any racing establishment in the world.
I'm going to find out a little more about horse racing from Mr. Nat Chan. Nat, good evening.
Hi.
How are you? I just
Evening.
won!
That's good.
Okay.
It's easy.
What is the capacity of Happy Valley Racecourse?
The big races in Shanty will be 60 to 80,000 people.
Wow.
Happy Valley is a smaller track, but it is the oldest track. Had 100 years history already. Normally we have 30,000 to 40,000.
And how many horses do you actually own?
In Hong Kong, the maximum we can own is 3. I own one only here.
Have you made more money from betting on horses than you have from your entertainment career?
That's everybody know. That's why I buy a newspaper to talk about all race tips and everything introduced and all that.
Nat, thank you very much. It's been a pleasure. But wait. I want you to rub your palm for some good luck, okay?
My pleasure.
Thank you very much. 多謝你啊。
多謝。
Thank you.
The Central District of Hong Kong may be a world of business, but head a little west and you will discover that the traditional Chinese way of life is very much alive.
The Central Market is in the heart of the Central District. From here you can take a 20-minute ride up the world's longest escalator to mid-levels, which is an upmarket residential area.
The 800-meter Central Escalator was completed in 1993. It was built to aid residents walking up and down the hillside on their way to work in Central. Along the way, you can catch glimpses of the diverse street life. tiny Hong Kong households and little shops are squeezed unbelievably close to the passing riders on the escalator. Start a walking tour of the Western District by getting off the escalator at Staunton Street, dubbed Hong Kong's Soho because it is south of Hollywood Road. This area is packed with cafes, antique showrooms and furniture shops.
Further down Hollywood Road are Ladder Street and Cat Street. It's easy to get lost amongst the spiderwebs of side streets and alleyways, each lined with porcelain markets, handicraft stores, tea shops and whatnots. 呢啲幾多錢啊?
Poke around here and you may find a gem among the old records, forgotten posters and Mao souvenirs. If you are looking for a little breather from central Hong Kong, head south to Stanley Village, a trendy suburban spot favoured by the expat community. Stanley Village is an attractive suburb with a strong colonial influence. Visitors come to Stanley to escape the urban buzz of the city. Both locals and tourists are drawn like bees to honey to the Stanley market. There is a hodgepodge of fashion, accessories, crafts and knickknacks, all blended into an exciting cocktail of colours and smells.
Venture further along the seafront promenade and you'll come to Stanley Plaza, the Village Square and the European-style Murray House.
Murray House was built by the British in the Central District in Hong Kong, but it had to make way for the Bank of China Tower in 1982. It was then painstakingly rebuilt to its original condition at Stanley. These days, both Stanley Plaza and Murray House are home to numerous specialty shops and restaurants. The heady mix of Chinese specialty markets can be found across the harbour in Mong Kok, Kowloon. The Yuen Po Street Bird Market is a haven for all songbird lovers.
My new friend. Say hello.
Hong Kong's songbird owners can find all kinds of creature comforts for their feathered friends, like intricately crafted cages and even live grasshoppers.
Maybe this is more my style. The flower market is right next to the bird market in Mong Kok.
Beautiful flowers and sweet scents captivate your senses in this bustling marketplace. There is always a brisk trade at the stalls as many Hong Kongers are drawn to the fresh blooms. As night falls, Mong Kok and nearby Yau Ma Tei districts in Kowloon turn into a dazzling street display of neon lights and loud haggling. Take a stroll down Nathan Road, known as the Golden Mile, and you'll hit brightly lit shops, Chinese emporiums, restaurants and night stops.
This is Hong Kong street life at its most authentic. Gritty, noisy, crowded, but utterly fascinating. In Hong Kong, you don't have to go shopping. Shopping comes to you.
Kowloon offers a wide variety of open-air shopping at the Lady Street and Temple Street markets, both of which are within easy walking distance at Yau Ma Tei. Combing through these eclectic street stalls requires the steely determination of the most fervent shopper. This is the place to come if you are in search of cheap clothes, watches, footwear and that quintessential feverish Hong Kong marketplace flavour. Lantau Island burst into the international spotlight in 1998 with the opening of Hong Kong's Chek Lap Kok Airport. The success of the airport has led to the building of a huge residential estate for aviation employees. Thankfully, the rest of Lantau Island remains rural and is still a favourite quiet retreat for stressed urbanites seeking some respite from chock-a-block Hong Kong Island. A short drive takes you to the Polden Monastery and the Tian Tan Buddha statue. It is Lantau Island's biggest attraction. Devotees and tourists alike flock here to worship the world's largest outdoor bronze statue of a seated Buddha. Built at a height of 24 meters, it was completed in 1990.
Devotees say a prayer to the gods before shaking one of these containers. These are divination sticks, and when one of the sticks falls out of the container, you can take it to the temple medium to get your fortunes told. I've crossed over from Lantau to Lama Island, a less-known spot rich in green hills and beautiful bays. Lama is blessed with only 2 villages, and better still, no cars. So, legwork for the rest of the day.
Lama Island is home to only 8,000 people who value the laid-back ambience here. As with any small island, fresh seafood stalls and restaurants are everywhere.
This pleasant walk takes you past pristine beaches and rugged green fields, which is certainly a refreshing change. With soaring real estate prices on crowded Hong Kong Island, you may want to consider Lama Island, where space is in abundance and the atmosphere is laid back.
The island's main street stretches from one village at the top of the island to another village at the tail end. You can walk the entire length of the island in 1.5 hours, or hire a bicycle for a leisurely ride. From here, you can see the small settlement of Sok Kwu Wan, or Picnic Bay, the second village on Lama.
You can also spot the towering skyscrapers of the southern side of Hong Kong Island. The sharp contrast between bustling Hong Kong and peaceful Lama Island is remarkable, isn't it?
Apart from a dozen waterfront seafood restaurants, the small harbour is filled with fish farms held together by rafts. Some fishermen even live on the rafts or on boats anchored to the harbour. A Tin Hau temple is located next to Sok Kwu Wan village, the smaller of 2 on Lama. Tin Hau, the goddess of the seas, is naturally the most important deity on an island of fishermen.
Whether it's the tranquility of Lama Island or the sheer energy of Central, few cities in the world can rival the passion that Hong Kong ignites in the heart of its visitors. Truly Chinese and yet truly cosmopolitan, Hong Kong's future looks as bright and as exciting as its past. I'm Vivian, and I hope you'll find time to visit this amazing city of life. Goodbye.
For more travel information, log on to www.cathaypacific.com and experience the true spirit of Hong Kong.